work. The Council brings both sides of an issue together to engage in the meaningful and substantive details of a bill, listens to concerns to make its assessment, and arrives at a better bill that everyone can support. I sincerely applaud and am proud of prime sponsor and Civil and Human Rights Committee Chair, Natasha Williams, who led this process through hearings and many deliberations with stakeholders, as well as her co-prime sponsor, Councilmember Justin Brennan. We thank you. We thank our staff, Jasari Ganapthi, William DeYorke, Rachel Cordero, David Seitzer, and Jack Kern for their help on this legislation. Thank you for your attention, colleagues. Now I would like to turn it back over into the hands of our majority leader.
Thank you, Speaker Adams. We're now going to move into the discussion of general orders. We have 3 individuals signed up, and we are going to first call on Councilwoman Nurse. Because of a very long agenda on general discussion, we're going to try to keep everyone firmly to their 2 minutes, so just please keep an eye on the clock. We're going to start with Councilwoman Nurse and then go to Councilmember Caban.
Thank you, Majority Leader Powers. I will keep it very short. Just in regards to 3285 Fulton Street, this project will create 27 units of deeply and permanently affordable senior housing units with on-site affordable childcare facilities for my neighborhood. It's going to be run by the Cypress Hills Local Development Corporation and Manny, a very reputable and beloved cornerstone of the Cypress Hills and East New York community. Rents will be as low as $589 a month and reach households below 40% of the AMI and a maximum of 50%. 30% of the units are set aside for formerly homeless households who will pay no more than 30% of their income towards rent. This was my first rezoning, and so I'm proud of what has been negotiated. The original proposal called for upzoning the entire block from R5 to R7A, but thank you to my team, Ryan Hickey from my team, folks from the Brooklyn Borough President's Office, Cypress Hills, and Manny. We were able to prevent that and keep most of the block at R5 with the exception of the project site and maybe a third into the next tax lot. Just as a reminder, East New York has already been upzoned, so we don't need any more of that market rate development, please and thank you. So with the support from this coalition, I'm very proud to present this proposal to you. I really ask for your support in voting aye. Thank you, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Councilwoman Nurse. And for folks who are on Zoom, just please raise your hand if you are looking to speak now, or we'll look for hands later as well. We'll now go to Councilmember Caban, followed by Councilmember Palladino.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think my remarks, I wanted to reserve them for general discussion post-voting, or?
We have you signed up for that too, so we can wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll go to Councilmember Palladino, followed by Councilmember Hudson, and then Batra. Sorry, Councilmember Palladino.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Sympathies out to Timothy Klein's family for this horrific fire and his death, untimely death. I'm voting yay with an explanation to intro 0014A. I understand that we are voting here today on what we are voting here today is just a technical change.
Councilmember Palladino, are you looking? We're not voting yet.
No, I didn't. That's why I don't know why I'm up to speak right now.
Oh, we had somebody sign you up to speak. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not supposed to speak till late. That's why I didn't understand why you called my name.
Your staff had signed you up. We'll move on.
Go ahead.
Okay.
That didn't make.
Okay, we're going to go on to Councilmember Hudson and then Councilmember Batra.
Well, now I'm not sure if I should wait.
Excuse me?
Should I wait until later?
You asked to speak now, correct? On an item, a land use item?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just want to confirm. The truth across the board is that the status quo isn't working for New Yorkers. Amid an ever-changing city confronted with new challenges, we continue to rely on systems that neither deliver for the most vulnerable among us, nor begin to consider the well-being of the millions of people living in our city's margins. We're reluctant to give up a system that puts a price on our communities, rewards patronage politics, and caters to the wealthy and powerful. As a result, we're forced to face new and emerging challenges while we continue to experience issues of times past, taking one step forward only to take two back. This is the case for how we've sought to address the housing and affordability crisis that plagues New York. But today we can set a new standard for private developers, flip the power dynamics that have long contributed to the massive exodus of our poor and working class Black and brown neighbors, and ensure our communities take the reins when deciding who gets to build what and where. With these two projects on Atlantic Avenue, we're setting the tone, showing that developers can stand to give much, much more than required under the mandatory inclusionary housing program. We have the chance to create more than 150 units at historic rates of affordability. 35% of each building's total floor area will be allocated for affordable units, and this is without subsidies. A majority of these units will be set aside for families of two, making between $38,000 and $57,000 per year, or 40% and 60% of the area median income, respectively. A smaller subset of the affordable units will be set aside for families of two, making 80% AMI, or $76,000 per year. Additionally, the developers each agreed to contribute $100,000 to a tenant and deed theft protection fund. When the median household income for Black residents is $40,000 in this community, these are the levels of affordability we have to set as the floor and the reality that we should take into account when we're considering new developments. If we're not building for those who are already living in our communities, we are complicit in the systematic displacement of Black residents in historically Black parts of our city. Across our city, developers can stand to give much, much more. They must provide greater quantities of affordable housing at deeper levels of affordability and must commit to investing in improvements for our communities. They must safeguard the well-being of the poor and working class Black and brown New Yorkers who have long called our communities home. We're setting a new baseline here to ensure our communities and our neighbors have a fair share of the pie. And today we're voting to take a step forward down a new path that prioritizes New Yorkers and offers a roadmap to addressing the housing and affordability crisis we so desperately need to solve. Thank you.
That was fast. Impressive.
I was already over time.
You're about to get cut
and
off.
I respect the clock, so.
I appreciate it. We are now going to Councilmember Bottcher, followed by Councilmember Barron and Councilmember Farias.
Speaking today in support of the West Village bid that we'll be voting on today. This is a bit of an unusual bid because it was initiated by residents who initiated it themselves. And if you're familiar with the process for creating a bid, you have to contact every property in this proposed bid area, and they did that on their own, thousands of properties. And years later, we've come to this point where they're ready to have a bid in that highly trafficked part of the village, highly visited part of the village. So I'm proud to support it. I want to thank Brooke Schooley and the 7th Avenue South Alliance and my staff, Patrice Comerford, Nicole Barth, Sean Coughlin, and Win Periasamy, and everyone who helped make this possible.
Thank you. We'll now go to Councilmember Barron and Councilmember Farias.
Just wanted to encourage my colleagues to vote on the Sutter Avenue project in East New York. It is a continuing 100% affordability, 100% affordability for all of the housing units. Initially, the developer said that could not happen and walked away from the table. We let them walk, and they came back with 100% affordability, and several of the projects will be, or apartments will be affordability in perpetuity forever, and some will be for 60 years. And then we also made sure that the rest of the block was not affected by this vote here. So once again, I think as we vote for projects in our communities, we got to get to 100% affordability. It can happen, and we should push the developers to make that happen. Anything short of that, we're being threatened by gentrification in our neighborhood. So I thank the City Council for their support on this project.
Thank you, Councilmember Barron. Now we'll go to Councilmember Farias.
Hi, everyone. Intro 47 would establish the Castle Hill bid, making it the first official business improvement district in my council district that I represent, and particularly in the Castle Hill community. This bid has an unprecedented level of support with both business owners and homeowners in support of the creation of the bid. And may I add, this morning we didn't have a single testimony against it, which shows that it is highly necessary. In government, how and where we invest our dollars speaks volumes about our morals as legislators. I'm excited to prioritize Castle Hill, to prioritize the Bronx, and to prioritize the hardworking families and workers in our neighborhoods. I urge my colleagues to vote yes in support of these businesses in my community. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have anyone else signed up. I'm just scanning, see if anybody else has their hand up. Okay, we are going to now move on. We'll move now to the report of special committees.
None.
Reports of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Civil and Human Rights, Intro 134A, Salary Transparency Law.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Contracts, Intro 14A, MWBE Disparity Study.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Finance, Intros 47 and 73, Business Improvement Districts.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered LU 43 and Reso 137, Property Tax Exemption.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Land Use, LU 16 through 19, various applications.
Motion to file.
LU 35 and Reso 138 and LU 36 and Reso 139, 1220 Avenue P rezoning.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 37 and Reso 140 and LU 38 and Reso 141, 272 East 151st Street rezoning.
Coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered Reso 142, New Providence redevelopment.
Coupled on general orders.
The following items are on the general orders calendar. LU 20 and Reso 143 through LU 22 and Reso 145, 1034, 1042 Atlantic Avenue rezoning.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 23 and Reso 146 through LU 25 and Reso 148, 870, 888 Atlantic Avenue rezoning.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 29 and Reso 149 and LU 30 and Reso 150 Sutter Avenue rezoning.
Coupled on general orders.
LU 32 and Reso 151 and LU 33 and Reso 152, 3285 Fulton Street rezoning.
Coupled on general orders, I would now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Abreu.
Aye.
Ariola.
Aye.
Aviles.
Aye.
Ayala.
Aye.
Barron.
May I be excused to explain my vote?
Please go ahead.
I vote no on LU 20 to 25 with the accompanying Reso 143 to 148, the Atlantic project, because 65% of it is market and only 35% is affordable. That's how we gradually gentrify our neighborhoods. I vote no on LU 18 and 19 for homeless shelters, 171 homeless beds with 130 affordable housing. We need permanent housing. These developers can do that. I vote no on LU 43 with accompanying Reso 138, Article 11. There's 100 homeless shelters and about 130, 40 affordable housing. On that one, I want to commend the council member from that district for doing the best that she could to try to get it to the rate of affordability. But like my community, that community is oversaturated with shelters, and they're violating the Fair Share Act and displacing shelters in other places. We need permanent housing. So I vote no on those items and aye on all the rest.
Thank you. Botcher.
Aye on all.
Brannan.
Aye.
Brewer. Brooks Powers.
Permission to explain my vote.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you, Majority Leader. First, I'd like to acknowledge the tragic death of firefighter Timothy Klein, who died in the line of service fighting a fire in Canarsie on Sunday. Timothy was a lifelong resident of the Rockaways, growing up in Breezy Point and living in Bell Harbor, and the whole community feels his loss. I invite my colleagues to keep him and his family in our thoughts and prayers, and thanking him for his dedication he has shown to his fellow New Yorkers. I'm also extremely proud to support the tax exemption going through for my district. It was one that required much coordination and negotiation with the two not-for-profit developments that are looking to bring services in this space of supportive housing and homeless shelter into my community. As it's been said already, communities like mine have been oversaturated with homeless shelters, where the 3 community boards that I represent in my district make up more than half of the shelters in the entire borough. But I am pleased with the outcome of where we were able to provide opportunities for the community, permanent housing for the unhoused, and the opportunity for a much needed conversation around this. And with that, I vote aye on all. Thank you.
Thank you. Kaban.
Aye on all.
Carr.
We'll be voting no on introduction 134A and aye on the rest.
Thank you. De La Rosa.
Aye on all.
Dinowitz.
Aye on all.
Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Feliz.
Aye.
Gennaro.
I vote yes, with the exception of intro 134A, on which I vote no.
Thank you. Gutierrez.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Hanif.
Permission to explain my vote?
Yep, go ahead.
Local Law 32, which was passed by the previous City Council, is a critical law that will establish salary transparency in New York City. This will help address the unacceptable pay gap for people of color and women compared to their white and male counterparts doing the same work. When Intro 134 was first introduced, I had deep concerns that it would roll back this major legislative win from the last council session. In its initial form, this bill would have exempted small business workers and remote workers from the law. I made it clear to other members and my constituents that I could not support legislation with those provisions. This is why I'm grateful to Councilmember Williams for hearing the concerns from pay equity advocates and working extremely hard to revise this bill in a way that will not undermine workers. This new version of the bill ensures that small business workers and remote workers will be protected by Local Law 32, while making some technical amendments that will make the law more feasible for businesses to implement. I vote aye on all.
Hanks.
Aye on all.
Holden.
I vote aye on all except intro 134A, of which I vote no.
Hudson.
Aye on all.
Joseph.
Aye on all.
Kagan.
Aye on all.
Krishnan.
Aye on all.
Lee.
Aye on all.
Lewis.
Aye on all.
Marte.
Aye on all.
Mealy.
I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Menon.
Aye on all.
Moya.
I vote aye.
Narcisse.
Permission to explain my vote.
Permission granted.
First, before I get to the explanation, I hear so many, and the speaker, Madam Speaker, thank you for acknowledging the stress that's going around my district. The recent tragic fire in my district highlighted just now how precious life is and how we should treat it as such. In the blink of an eye, our city lost an FDNY hero, Timothy Klein, which the viewing gonna be started already this afternoon in my district. And a family who lives just blocks away from my home lost their loving son, Carlos Richards. Not only Timothy, but Carlos Richard was an autistic young man. I ask you all to join me in lifting them up in prayer and taking a moment today to give thanks for what we have, and we have life today. Thank you, my colleagues and everyone that have been supporting. So now, I want to say aye to all, but we have to keep in mind that what's presented in front of me is what we have. We need a place for folks to stay in. We cannot afford to have people on the street anymore. We need permanent housing. I would like to echo on what CM Barron just mentioned. So, but for what it is today, I will vote aye, but we still have to keep in mind that we have to have permanent housing. Thank you.
Thank you. Nurse. Osei.
Aye on all, except I abstain from land use item 20 to 25.
Thank you. Palladino.
I vote no on 134A and aye on all the rest.
Thank you. Wrestler.
Aye on all.
Richardson Jordan.
I am a proud co-sponsor on the new version of Intro 134. I want to echo what CM Barron said about the permanent housing. It's not something I would want for my district, but with reference to other members who know their districts the best, I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Riley.
Aye on all.
Rivera.
I vote aye.
Salamanca.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you. First, I just want to congratulate Councilmember Hudson on getting to the finish line with her project. It came down to the wire, but I know that the council member, she got more than what was required in terms of affordable housing in her community. And at an end result, she will also get a study, a neighborhood study, which that immediate community has been asking for. So congratulations to you, Councilmember Hudson. And I want to congratulate my two council members with new bids. I have two bids in my council district, and they worked wonders. The work that bids do to strengthen small businesses and to bring in more merchants and increase their visibility is outstanding. And I especially want to congratulate Councilmember Farias, my neighboring council member, for bringing a bid to the Castle Hill area. And with that, I vote aye on all.
Thank you. Sanchez.
Aye on all.
Schulman.
Aye on all.
Stevens.
Aye on all.
Ung.
Aye on all.
Velasquez.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Vernikov.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Today I'll be voting yes on land use item 35, a rezoning for 1220 Avenue P in my district, which would expand a medical facility in my district. There is a distinct need for expanded medical services within the community, and I believe this project will be a significant asset to the district, and particularly for the local senior population. With that, I vote aye on all, except no on intro 0134A. Thank you.
Thank you. Williams.
Permission to explain my vote?
Yep. Permission
I'm going to
granted.
go a little bit over my time, but today is a big day. This is not only my first piece of legislation, but an opportunity to expand on landmark measures which were critical to the fight in economic equity that we have fought so hard for. Of course, when working on actions like this, as a natural-born advocate, I truly believe that work like this cannot get done without walking lock in step with the community. After listening carefully to feedback from advocates and the business community on April 5th regarding Intro 134, an action which considers provisions for small business owners that may have not had the ability to carry out employee and salary actions in advance as their big business counterparts, we have worked to reach an end that reflects the needs of everyone. Mirroring the spirit of some of our champions around equal pay, including Reverend Addie Wyatt, Betty Dukes, Cangela Moore, my former community board member and confidant, and the Queen of the Beehive, Beyonce, here are a few of the adjustments we have incorporated. We have clarified that jobs paid an hourly wage be subject to the salary transparency requirement, which was intended but not indicated in prior language. We have also removed general notices that state employees can hire without reference to a particular position. We ensured that nearly all virtual jobs performed in New York City or for New York City employee can be covered under the bill. Lastly, we have worked to keep an extension to allow for viable time for small businesses and the agency charged with enforcing to be in compliance with this new law. With this expansive work we are carrying out to strengthen our pay equity measures, here are a few things I want us all to keep in mind. Research included with our PowerHer advocates show that women earn approximately $10,157 less than their male counterparts annually. According to the New York City Commission on Gender Equity, in New York City, a white woman earns 84 cents for every dollar a white man earns, while a Hispanic woman working full-time earns 46 cents, an African woman earns 55 cents, and an Asian woman earns about 63 cents. We are now living in 2022, and thinking about these statistics is rather startling. But it is my hope that this body will continue to refine measures to break down barriers like this and ensure that everyone has a seat at the table when it comes to pay equity.
Thank you,
As a
Councilmember
Black
Lund.
woman and the sponsor of this bill, equal pay is vital, and ensuring that we get this right is equally important. I have always advocated for women, communities of color, and the most marginalized throughout my career. In the words of one of our nation's most recognized MC duos, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. My commitment to this work has led me
Councilmember
to
Williams,
champion
can we have you wrap up?
myriad
Thanks.
issues of women. And last but not least, thank you so much to Speaker Adams and my staff, Everton and Ashley. I also want to acknowledge, I'm sorry, this is important, committee staff, Council Jay Sari, William, Jack, Jeremy, Jeff Baker, and Rachel, and David, because without them, this would not be possible. Finally, to our pay equity advocates and business advocates,
Councilmember Williams,
thank you.
please wrap up. Thank you.
I'm done.
We have a very long agenda today. Councilor Williams, we also need your vote.
You were like laying the smackdown, Majority Leader. I was like, oh my God. I proudly vote aye on all.
Thank you. Congratulations on now this time. I said it last time, your first bill.
Thank you. Councilmember Juan.
Aye on all.
Yeager.
May I be excused to explain my vote?
You are excused to explain your vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate very much the efforts by some of my colleagues to pass legislation here today, and I don't want to be a downer on the round of applause, but I will vote no on 134 for the same reason that I voted no on it in the last session of the Council. It is fundamentally unconstitutional. Government cannot compel speech. No matter how good we think the result of that compelling of the speech would be, we still need to have a substantial interest tied directly to the goal that we're trying to achieve. This will simply require additional words in an advertisement, and it won't do what I believe we think it will do to create pay equity. And without that direct attachment from the act of this body to the result that it is intended, it's an unconstitutional compelling of speech. This violates the First Amendment, and that's why I voted no in the last session. I'm voting no in this session as well. I will also vote no on intros 47 and 73. Not going to make a whole big spiel about it, but as I've said in the past, I appreciate very much the work of my colleagues to bring services into their districts where they are desperately needed, because the streets are dirty, because the services are not coming from the government. The people who live there, the people who own businesses there, are paying for those services. So if we're going to create a bid, and the bid is going to do assessments on those property owners ought to receive a credit back from the property taxes that they're paying for the services they're not receiving, which the bid is there to give now. And for that reason, simply because I cannot raise taxes on people, I just can't do it right now in the city, I'm going to vote no on 47 and 73 as well. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and aye on all the rest. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Borelli.
Aye on all except 134A.
Powers.
Aye on all.
Speaker Adams.
Aye on all.
Councilor Kagan.
Yes, I would like to change my vote. Intro 134A, I'm voting no.
All items on today's general order calendar are adopted by a vote of 51 in the affirmative, 0 negative, and 0 abstentions, with the exception of land use items 18 and 19, with 50 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, 0 abstentions, land use 20 through 25, and accompanying resolutions with 49 in the affirmative, 1 negative, and 1 abstention. Land use 43 and resolution 137, 50 in the affirmative, 1 negative, 0 abstentions. Intro 134A, which is adopted by a vote of 43 in the affirmative, 8 negative, and 1 abstention. Intro 47, which is adopted by a vote of 50 in the affirmative, 1 negative, and 0 abstentions. And Intro 73, which was adopted by a vote of 50 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 0 abstentions. Thank you. We are now going to move to the introduction and reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committees as indicated on today's agenda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We'll now move into discussion of resolutions. We have 2 members signed up on today's resolutions that we're voting on. We first will hear from Councilmember Hanif.
Just pulling up my remarks. Okay, I'm excited to have 2 resolutions up for a vote today that, if passed, will demonstrate this council's commitment to immigrant rights and a sanctuary city. The first is Resolution 84 in support of the Coverage for All Act, which I was proud to introduce alongside council members Abreu, Moya, Schulman, and Lee. Coverage for All would end the exclusion of undocumented New Yorkers from the New York State Essential Plan, which provides health coverage for those with low incomes. This exclusion has immense consequences. An estimated 2,000 undocumented New Yorkers have died preventable deaths of COVID solely due to their lack of health coverage. In the fiscal year 23 enacted budget, the state took an important first step by expanding essential plan access to undocumented seniors. The state can and must go further by passing the act in full to cover all New Yorkers. The second is Reso 112 in support of the New York for All Act, which I introduced with our public advocate, Jomani Williams. This act would significantly reduce state and local governments' collaboration with ICE through a number of mechanisms, including prohibiting local law enforcement from inquiring about immigration status. This would decrease deportations and further public safety and economic growth by allowing immigrant communities to more fully participate in public life. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Councilmember Caban, followed by Councilmember Barron.
Thank you. I'm speaking in support of the Reso on HR 2070. This bill, unlike the statehood bill that imposes a particular status on Puerto Rico, is a bill that uniquely acknowledges the history of colonization and is the only bill clearly and deeply committed to a democratic process, puts all options on the table, lays out a process for education and engagement and what that means for the island's future. Self-determination is a human right. I'm a proud New Yorican with family on the island and across the U.S., and yesterday I spent the day in D.C. with Puerto Ricans living and organizing on the island, and the message was clear. Things are getting worse, and this is a matter of life and death. Puerto Ricans have survived every manner of disasters: hurricanes, earthquakes, La Promesa, imperialism, austerity, political corruption. In Puerto Rico, we call it La Brega, the perpetual struggle. Our people are tired, and we deserve the right to chart our own path forward. I urge city leaders to support Deputy Speaker Ayala's Reso supporting Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez's self-determination bill. And finally, from Mi Familia and Mi Gente en la Isla, And to everyone in the diaspora, many of whom call New York City home, nos tenemos, we got us. So thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to hear from Council Member Barron.
I stand to support both of these resolutions. You know, I'm sure all resolutions can be made better or whatever, but I support both of these resolutions, particularly the independence of Puerto Rico. I have been constantly in support of that. Don Pedro Albizus Campos, Lolita Lebron, these were giants in our movement for liberation and for the independence and self-determination of Puerto Rico. So we have to support those who fight against imperialism, fight against multinational corporate exploitation, and who are fighting against capitalism as it reaches its tentacles to continue a colonial economy across this world. So a blow against imperialism and capitalism in Puerto Rico is a blow against it in Africa and the Caribbean and other countries around the world. So I support this resolution. And also I was raising my hand because I was trying to find out how do we get on the list. I was wanted to get on the list for, if you could put me on the list for the open discussion, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else signed up to speak on the resolutions? Okay, thank you. We now have a voice vote on today's resolutions. If you wish to vote against or abstain from either of today's resolutions, please notify the Legislative Documents Unit by email or approaching the dais before the vote. Anybody wants to come up now? I will now read today's resolutions into the record. Resolution 84A calls on the state legislature to pass and the governor to sign Assembly Bill number 880A and Senate Bill 1572A to provide coverage for health care services under the Basic Health Program for individuals whose immigration status renders them ineligible for federal financial participation. Will all those in favor please say aye? Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Resolution 112 calls on the New York State Legislature to pass and the governor to sign the New York for All Act, Assembly Bill number 2328A and Senate Bill number 3076A, which would prohibit and regulate the discovery and disclosure of immigration status by New York State and local government entities. Will all those in favor say aye? Aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Councilor Kagan. The ayes have it. We are now going to move into general discussion. Before we do that, I just want to note we have almost 25 people signed up today for general discussion. I am going to strictly enforce the 2-minute rule for that reason, to give everybody an opportunity to be able to speak and for us to move efficiently. And if you, of course, have your name on the list and you want to pass on speaking, we will also accept that. But 2 minutes, and we are going to ask you to close out. So we are going to first start with Councilmember Mealy. Oh, sorry, but one correction before we move. Intro, just to correct the vote on Intro 134A, it was 43 in the affirmative, 8 in the negative, and 0 abstentions. Thank you. We're now general discussion. We'll start with Councilmember Mealy, and then we have Councilmember Ariola. Councilmember Mealy.
I'm speaking in regards to Intro 1269 is imperative to keeping our community safe. With new plain closed units and I'm sorry, I'm not feeling too well, so I will pass. Thank you. But I ask everyone to sign on to Intro 1269. Thank you.
Thank you. We like that efficiency, Councilmember. We'll now go to Councilmember Ariola, followed by Councilmember Gutierrez.
Thank you, Majority Leader Powers. I'd also like to take a moment to
honor firefighter Timothy Klein, who is a constituent of mine, and to give my condolences to my colleague, Councilmember Narcisse, for the loss of her constituent, Carlos Richards. We have a very tragic tie that binds us. I'd also like to just make mention of that this is Holocaust Remembrance Day and that we should never forget. Today, I'm going to speak about Intro 210, which I'm co-prime sponsoring with my colleague, Majority Whip and Council Member in the 31st Council District, Selvina Brooks Powers. For decades, the waters around New York City were viewed by many as little more than a dumping ground, clogged with derelict vessels and littered with debris. Our waterways, and Jamaica Bay in particular, were transformed into floating junkyards where unscrupulous boat owners would abandon their property without fear of repercussion. In recent years, thanks to the hard work and dedication of groups like the Jamaica Bay Eco Watchers and the American Littoral Society, many others, we've begun to see a renaissance on our waters. Water quality is better than it has been at any point in living memory. Marine life is returning, and the residents and visitors alike are able to engage with our bays and rivers in ways previously thought impossible. This bill would seek to build upon this rebirth of New York's waterways and ensure that we can continue moving forward to make this city a better, cleaner place for us to enjoy. This bill would create a brand new Office of Marine Debris Disposal and Vessel Surrendering, which would be responsible for coordinating cleanup efforts across the city, removing abandoned boats and marine debris from our beaches and shorelines. Additionally, this office would develop programs to encourage boat owners to dispose of their vessels responsibly through city programs, rather than abandon them as they had in the past. I ask my colleagues to support and sign on to this bill so that our waterways can continue its ecological renaissance. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Going to Councilmember Gutierrez, Councilmember De La Rosa, and just remember we had 2 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I'm excited to introduce my first pieces of legislation today. Finally, amen. As a new mom, I'm excited to move the work forward in improving New York City for mothers and caregivers and strengthening educational opportunities for children through these bills. In coordination with Council members, new mom, Councilmember Julie Wan, who's here, and Mom-to-be, Councilmember Pirina Sanchez, Intro 242 would establish a Marshall Plan for Moms Task Force to develop and issue recommendations on how to support working mothers and caregivers. It's always been difficult to be a working mom, but particularly in light of issues that have become more acute during the pandemic. It's critical to create a new framework of support as we enter a new normal, both in the workplace and in our daily lives. Intro 241 will provide public school students with mobile hotspot devices. As we saw throughout the past 2 years, the digital divide is a huge barrier for students throughout the 5 boroughs, and their ability to join classes remotely and do schoolwork hinges on their access to internet connectivity. Guaranteeing mobile hotspots to public school students would enable more opportunities for learning and begin to address the disparities in educational attainment in our city. With a minute to spare, finally, I'm introducing Intro 240 to enable 311 to be able to update complaint types and more accurately categorize the more than 40 million customer contacts that 311 receives annually. As the city agency with their finger on the pulse of what is occurring throughout each community, the kinds of complaints received evolve over the years, and this bill would require 311 to incorporate those changes. I would be honored to have you join me as a sponsor on all of these bills. Muchas gracias.
Very good. We'll go to Councilmember, thank you. Okay. We'll go to Councilmember De La Rosa, followed by Councilmember Williams, and then Councilmember Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. I want to thank Madam Speaker and our colleagues for joining us this afternoon as we commemorate Workers' Memorial Day. On April 28th, across the world, we recognize the sacrifices made by workers and recommit to renewing our fight for strong safety and health protections for all working people here in our city and across the globe. I will soon be introducing legislation to address the lack of reporting on city workplace fatalities, and look forward to having all of your support. Like many of our colleagues today, I'm also introducing several pieces of legislation, and I'm asking for your support. The first, Intro 231, is a local law that I'm introducing with Borough President Mark Levine that calls for the creation of a residential parking permit in Northern Manhattan. The issues of parking are often controversial, Many local residents who have made the decision to own a vehicle have historically complained about the lack of street parking available to them, and others have argued for the reduction and reliance on personal use vehicles and call for investment in our transportation alternatives. This legislation takes into account both of these realities with a pilot that will generate needed revenue that can be invested right back into our city's street infrastructure. The second, Intro 232, jointly with Councilmember Farias, establishes a task force to study gender pay disparity and economic self-sufficiency among the labor force in New York City. We must work hard to eliminate the gender pay gap once and for all, and this task force will review the labor force in all its sectors to determine the best methods to measure the gender pay disparity across our city. And then finally, we have Resolution 131, which calls on Wendy's to join the Fair Food Program, which supports farm workers working in fast food corporations by addressing issues of unfair wages, abusive work conditions, and access to breaks and safe transportation to work. Many individuals that work in the fields are immigrants that ensure that the food we eat is safe. And we are asking Wendy's to join other corporations in the Fair Food Program so that these workers can have dignity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I was going to Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Riley, Councilmember Joseph.
I'll be brief in the light of time. I don't want to be cut off again by the majority leader. But as chair of the Civil and Human Rights Committee and council member of District 27, I am always working to ensure that we look at the issues before the council through an equity lens, and that includes the cannabis industry. I have so many thoughts surrounding this, but we cannot talk about this amazing step without talking about the hurt and harm impacted by communities. So with that, I would like to thank the bill's prime sponsor, Councilmember Kevin Riley, for introducing this critical piece of legislation, and look forward to seeing it passed.
Very, very impressive, Councilmember Knopf. Okay, thank you. We'll now go to Councilmember Riley, I think, speaking on the same bill.
Thank you, Councilmember Williams, for the alley-oop. The legalization of cannabis in New York State has the potential to make New York City a key leader in the cannabis industry. Welcoming cannabis to New York City creates an opportunity to encourage vital economic recovery, secure job opportunities, and create successful businesses. It is evident that the industry has the ability to expand our economic recovery as it has in other major cities throughout the country. Today, I'm proud to lead with Council members Williams, Stevens, Farias, and Nurse to reintroduce Intro 285, which would establish a New York City Office of Cannabis Business Services. Not only would this bill be a key factor in expanding outreach and participation to create a successful cannabis economy for our city, this office is centered in securing equitable resources and supportive services to communities of color who have long been targeted while others have thrived in this industry. An Office of Cannabis Business Services will align with the state's cannabis agenda to serve the people of the local level. With the commitment from Mayor Adams to provide significant investments to make New York City the nation's most equitable cannabis industry, this piece of legislation will support the vision. I'm also introducing Reso 135. Many New York families rely on safe transport of our school buses to guide our children to and from school. Securing their safety is always top priority, and updating legislation that calls to enhance those efforts should be an easy decision. Reso 135 will require all New York State school buses to have 2 functioning stop arms on each side of the bus for safer operations. This is vital to increase our children's safety and create higher visibility for drivers to exercise caution and come to a complete stop. Any bus that does not have both functioning stop arms will be deemed unfit to keep children safe and thus have no place on our streets. I encourage Governor Hochul and New York State legislators to sign LS 7814, a similar piece of legislation that will go a long way in saving many children's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Riley. We'll now go to Councilmember Joseph, followed by Councilmember Osei, followed by Councilmember Caban.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I'm introducing my first bill, along with Board President Mark Levine, mandating that the Department of Parks and Department of Transportation identify locations where the city can install public bathrooms. Introduction 258 would specifically require these 2 agencies to find public bathroom sites in every zip code across the 5 boroughs. We need more than 1 per zip code, but this is certainly a step in the right direction. The lack of public restrooms hurt everyone. I'm sure every single person can think of a time when they were stranded and had to search for a business that had a bathroom they can use. When we don't have public bathrooms, we smell human waste in public parks, in our subway stations, in our neighborhoods. No one wants to see that. We can prevent this by providing public bathrooms that the city will clean and maintain for everyone. Everyone needs a safe place to use the restroom. This will improve the quality of life for every New Yorker. It will keep our neighborhoods clean and sanitary. It is good for business. It just makes sense. I hope that my colleagues will consider signing on to this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go to Councilmember Osei, followed by Councilmember Caban.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I will be introducing 3 pieces of legislation. The first bill, Intro 278, which I introduce on behalf of Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso, takes on a plight that too many New Yorkers know too well: package theft. It will require all new residential developments to have a secure delivery storage room. Decades ago, thieves declared open season on our lobbies. Every day, 90,000 packages are stolen in the city, depriving our neighbors of everything from prescriptions to Christmas presents. The COVID surge in home deliveries assigns greater urgency to the issue. It's time to act. The second bill, Intro 276, one I'm co-priming with Councilmember Aviles, Bottcher, and Narcisse, will require the Department of Homeless Services to provide trainings on cultural sensitivity, de-escalation tactics, and trauma-informed approaches for their staff and public-facing contractors. Requiring these trainings will ensure that those who serve the unhoused do so with respect and care. Homelessness is trauma. In serving those who face it, we must prioritize the universal human right to dignity. And finally, the third bill, Intro 277, one I am co-priming with Councilmember Althea Stevens, is deeply personal to me. It will prohibit the use of the NYPD's Strategic Response Group to respond to protests. Prior to entering the council, I organized with the Black Lives Matter movement. We marched and fought for safety, justice, and dignity for Black folks in New York City and beyond. Although our right to assemble and protest is protected by the United States Constitution, my fellow organizers and I were met with fleets of militarized NYPD forces on the streets, who beat and brutalized peaceful protesters while trampling on our nation's founding document. The summer of 2020 proved once and for all that the manner in which the SRG exists and operates cannot continue. It's our tax dollars funding these abuses. It is the armed extension of our government. We must refuse to continue these assaults on our neighbors and ban the SRG's use in addressing protests and public assemblies in our city to uphold and defend our fundamental rights. Having seen what we've seen and knowing what we know, this legislation is common sense, and I hope all co-sponsor.
Thank you, Councilor Osei. We'll go to Councilor Caban, followed by Councilor Menon.
I'll get you that pen. Thank you. HRA's utility allowance rule means that City FEPS is not functioning the way the council originally envisioned it, that our neighbors are experiencing homelessness, are faced with unnecessary barriers to finding the housing that they're entitled to. So Intro 229, which I'm introducing today, is a simple piece of legislation that will eliminate that technicality, shorten stays at homeless shelters, lift bureaucratic red tape, save the city money, and move us toward a fully housed city, which is to say a safer and healthier city. I want to thank my colleague, Deputy Speaker Ayala, for her partnership on this vital rule change, and I urge all of my colleagues to sign on as co-sponsors. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Councilmember Menon, followed by Councilmember Kagan.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader Powers. Today, I am proud to introduce, along with Council Members Wan and Council Member Williams, Intro 262, which would require the Department of Small Business Services to establish a letter grading system for MWBEs. It is far time for the City of New York to actually do the work that's needed to give our MWBEs vital resources in terms of contracts. MWBEs are falling incredibly short in obtaining New York City contracts. In fiscal year 21, only around 4% of city contracts went to MWBEs. This is honestly unconscionable. I've seen firsthand the city does little to try to promote economic opportunities for MWBEs, and this bill would require SBS to letter grade all city agencies and would finally create accountability and transparency. So I urge my colleagues to please sign on. Thank you.
Thank you. And I go to Councilmember Kagan, followed by Councilmember Nurse.
Thank you. Next year, we will celebrate 100th anniversary of our famed, internationally recognized landmark Coney Island Boardwalk. In the last 10 years, a lot of parts of our boardwalk have become dangerous to walk for both local residents and visitors. According to New York City Comptroller, city paid millions of dollars in settlements for claims for victims of boardwalk who were hurt, injured, or seriously wounded just by walking, and they were hurt by holes, nails, and broken planks. I'm looking forward working with administration, particularly with Parks Department, Economic Development Corporation, and other city agencies to restore the glory of Coney Island Boardwalk using city funds as well as federal assistance from federal infrastructure funds. Communities of Southern Brooklyn deserve our own beautiful and hospitable boardwalk as a place for recreation, economic engine, and symbol of New York City recovery for generations to come.
Thank you. We now go to Councilmember Nurse, followed by Councilmember Dinowitz.
Good afternoon again, colleagues. Thank you all for your support on the resolution for Puerto Rico on behalf of my family members. Today is a great day for the war on trash. I'm so excited that New York City potentially can recommit to a serious and aggressive path towards zero waste to landfills or incinerators by 2030, and universal curbside organics is the clearest, fastest way to get there. I'm so excited to be reintroducing a number of bills with CMs Bottcher, Osei, Menon, Gutierrez, Hanif, Powers, and Caban, which will require New York City to establish a goal of achieving zero waste by 2030 and for the city to report on meeting that goal. I'm also so proud to stand with my dear colleague Hanif and other members as a co-prime on universal curbside organics for every neighborhood in New York City. I believe New York City has a real chance to be a national and global leader on these issues, and what an achievement it will be when we get it done. And lastly, 420 month is not yet over, so I am very excited to be a co-prime on CM Riley's bill that will bring much needed technical assistance and support to our legacy folks and communities. The current law, as written, is already stacked with barriers against those who need to be first to benefit. So we need to urgently get our legacy folks up to date, equipped, and prepared to benefit first from this new law. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Dinowitz, followed by Councilmember Stevens.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Colleagues, friends, today is Yom HaShoah, a day where we remember the Holocaust. One of the things that we say on Yom HaShoah is never again. Never again will we as a people collectively suffer. Never will there be another genocide. Never will a people's babies be ripped from their arms and people dig their own graves and watch each other into the gas chambers. But as time passes since the Holocaust, and as more and more of our survivors leave this earth, that phrase, never again, is losing meaning. And we are seeing significant increases in anti-Semitic acts of hate, anti-Semitic hate crimes here in New York City. ADL just released a report 2 days ago. Wiesenthal Center released a report today. Violence against our Jewish brothers and sisters is up over 200% since last year. Harassment in K through 12 schools is up over 100% in the past year. This is our city. This is the city where my wife and I are raising our boys who are descendants of survivors. So as time moves on, and as we see this increase in hate, there's a heavy burden, I think, upon all of us to make sure that when we say never again, we mean it. And I implore you all, there are two things we can all do. One is to speak out. Anytime there's an act, anytime you could be an ally, don't be silent, because there is no such thing as an innocent bystander. And the second, I would ask that you use your platform, your time, your energy, your resources to ensure that all of our communities, all of our schools are educated in history and the history of the Holocaust. Because studying the Holocaust isn't about looking back at the darkest chapter in our history. It's about looking forward and providing meaning and power to those words, never again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Denowitz. We're now going to hear from Councilmember Stevens, followed by Councilmember Barron.
Thank you, Majority Leader, and sending love and light to the Jewish community at this time. But it's my pleasure to introduce my first piece of legislation today. It's local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York in relation to requiring Department of Transportation to establish a program allowing community centers, schools, and arts and cultural institutions and religious institutions use adjournment outside space. By introducing this piece of legislation, young people across the city will have access to space to play, learn, and grow, and community institutions will be able to step out from their buildings onto the streets to give neighbors access to their resources. I often say that our strength is in our unity, and utilizing space in our neighborhoods will build community, and it is a key and vital to the success of building unity. I'm extremely happy to also be co-priming 3 pieces of legislation. First, with Councilmember Riley, Williams, Ferrars, and Nurse on establishing the Office of Cannabis Services. This is another step to reversing the devastating causes caused in Black and brown communities and provide a pathway to generational wealth. Second piece of legislation with Councilmember Osei, as we are electeds, and our responsibility as electeds is to protect the rights of our constituents and their safety while exercising their right to protect their constitution, their constitutional right. And my third and last piece of legislation will be with Councilmember Ferrars, as it is important that the youth of our city have equitable access to New York City ferry services, as I continue to advocate for ferry access throughout our city for all communities. And I'm under 2 minutes. Thank you.
Very, very impressive. Thank you, Councilmember Stevens. We'll go to Councilmember Barron, followed by Councilmember Holden.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to express my condolences to firefighter Timothy Klein. That firehouse he worked out of is right on the borderline of my district in Canarsie. My condolences. Secondly, I'm presenting 2 pieces of legislation, one for the wrongfully convicted. There are those who were wrongfully convicted and they were let out and then they just say, sorry. No, this bill would assure them social services to be provided for them and their families. My other bill that I'm introducing is the Slavery Disclosure Act. All corporations are vetted before they get contracts to see if they're good corporate citizens. And some of them have corruption in the past and they have to list that. Well, we want them to list if they ever were involved in the slave trade or the institution of slavery. Finally, the budget. My colleagues, I'm gonna keep reminding you, this budget is not about the $400 million that you got the mayor to agree to out of your 1-point-some-odd billion in the executive budget. This budget is $99.7 billion. This budget had a deficit of $2.9 billion, but it had a budget surplus of $1.6 billion and budget reserves of $6.1 billion for rainy days. It's included. Well, it's raining today, Mayor, and we need to use some of that to cut out the peg of nearly $2 billion from every city agency. Your seniors, your youth, your health, housing, everything was cut, and we sitting here with a surplus, plus money in the reserve. You can't just put it all for the outer years. And then finally, the police budget is bloated, $11 billion, $513 million in overtime. And I agree with Councilmember Osei, we need to disband that unit. The unit, the Strategic Response Group, it went from 13 million to 90 million. Their overtime is 513 million. Take care of the people, not politicians.
Thank you, Councilmember. We'll now go to Councilmember Holden and Councilmember Wong.
Thank you, Majority Leader Powers. I'm proud to introduce another package of bills today, presenting common sense solutions to quality of life issues and many other topics. These bills will help address parking problems, restrict disturbances caused by unreasonably bright lights in residential areas, crack down on illegal parties that cause various issues, and improve notification for community boards, protect the privacy of New Yorkers who have been the victims of violent crime, create a better installation and maintenance process for tree guards on our streets, ratchet up fines for quality of life offenses, and require, listen to this, require a supermajority vote by the council to raise our taxes and more. These bills offer real solutions to nonpartisan issues that New Yorkers in my district and throughout the city are frustrated by every day. I look forward to bipartisan support of these measures from my colleagues that will help our city move forward. Please review the proposed legislation, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you very much. In under 2 minutes.
Not bad, Councilor Holden. Appreciate
All right.
it. And we got like 12 bills. We're going now to Councilor Wan and then Councilor Hanif.
Thank you so much. Today I'm introducing 3 bills that have been adopted from former council members Rosenthal and Kilos, who served as chairs of contract committee before me. I'm grateful for their work, and I will continue to focus on transparency and accountability for our city contracts. Intro 299 would add an option to question the passport questionnaire, asking prospective city vendors to voluntarily disclose the gender and race of their directors and senior executives. This data would help us understand who leads the organizations who we work with to execute our city's goals and helps us work towards more equity in the organizations that we contract with. Intro 300 would require a commissioner of investigation to appoint a special inspector to monitor the emergency procurement contracts entered into the city's response of COVID-19. This is really important because we saw that during COVID-19 that the contracts that were given did not have a lot of qualifications or a lot of things that we were using to make sure that our city taxpayer dollars were going to use. So we want to make sure that we're holding bad actors accountable and learning how to move forward with more responsibility. And finally, Intro 301 would apply to a contractor and a city agency or the council that are parties to city contracts valued in excess of $100,000 to establish standards for conflicts of interest that may arise as a result of entering into contracts with organizations. I know that contracts is not the most exciting, but I just want everyone to sign on because this will bring more transparency and accountability. So I urge my colleagues to sign on, and I am really excited today to be here as a co-prime sponsor for bringing back and making it mandatory for curbside composting with Councilmember Hanif. So I hope that you will support us on that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just wanted to chime in here with some trash talking. I'm super excited to introduce universal composting. This will phase us out of the opt-in model and make it mandatory. It's a public utility, and I hope that we're going to get there. I urge my colleagues to not be rubbish and to sign on to this exciting piece of legislation, Intro 244. Thank you to the 11 co-sponsors, including Speaker Adams. I appreciate you all for moving us in a direction that we absolutely must and urgently should move towards a greener, sustainable New York City, an environmentally just, one that undoes environmental racism. And I'd like to make a pitch for Intros 281, the CORE Act, sponsored by Councilmember Powers, which would expand compost drop-off services and sites, and then, of course, Intro 274 by Councilmember Nurse, for us to adequately achieve our zero waste goals in New York City by 2030. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, and I appreciate your trash puns today.
Appreciate that.
We'll now go to Councilmember Brewer, followed by Councilmember Rivera.
Thank you very much. I do want to congratulate Councilmember Williams on the wage legislation, and certainly everybody who's working on curbside organics pickup. It does need to be mandatory. We tried it before otherwise, and I think the only way to go is mandatory. And I too read names this morning at the Holocaust Remembrance Day. Today's also Workers' Remembrance Day, as we know, and also I really appreciate the speaker mentioning Denim Day yesterday. These are really important celebrations that we don't want to forget. So a couple issues in terms of legislation. Really important for me is our history, and one way is to have cultural markers. We've never been able to pull this off on different buildings. Some owners don't want them, some people, but I do think we should have a cultural marker process so that in addition to, we all know we have street co-namings, but some of these buildings get lost. People don't remember who lived there or what their significance is. Second, we've never been able to figure out whether it goes on the mayor's site, the city council site, for those all the way from the beginning, who is that person up on the street sign? Who is a co-namer? Many of the people who are 9/11, who died in 9/11, nobody knows who they are because they don't have their bios in a place that is visible to the public. I know the City Council has done those that they have recently co-named, but it needs to be codified and clear to the public and advertised as such. I also want to hope that people sign on where I know there's a letter circulating, but my husband's a veteran of Vietnam. I feel very strongly about the hospitals staying open. The idea that the federal government closed Brooklyn and Manhattan Veterans Hospital is inconceivable. And I too want to just thank everyone who's working with us on either curbside organics or recycling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Brewer. We'll go to Councilmember Rivera, followed by Councilmember Farias.
Thank you. This city is powered by its people, and today I am introducing a package of legislation that centers their needs and champions people-powered mobility to complement a comprehensive effort to address environmental and climate issues. The bills in this package to codify a Greenway Master Plan for the 21st century, co-sponsored by Transportation Chair, Councilmember Sylvina Brooks Powers, to establish an Office of Active Transportation along with an Office of Pedestrians, and creating a first-of-its-kind bicycle infrastructure map. All will address systemic gaps in support and infrastructure for open spaces and green transportation in communities citywide. Historically, low-income neighborhoods and communities of colors have seen the least investment in green infrastructure. This package sets forth a vision for a future where New Yorkers of all backgrounds, ages, and abilities from every neighborhood in every borough can easily find open space and safely utilize active transportation. More New Yorkers than ever before are relying on active transportation to get where they need to go, whether it's on foot, on a bike. I've even seen rollerblades out there. Love the 90s. Every single one of us in this room today represents countless New Yorkers who want safe, protected, open spaces to enjoy active transportation for everything from their daily commutes to errands to recreation. I urge you to do the right thing for the future of our city. Join me in signing onto these bills, which will equip New York with the tools necessary to promote equitable access to open spaces and people-powered modes of transportation, while furthering efforts towards climate justice and resiliency. I'm also introducing my bill to alleviate noise pollution related to police, fire, ambulance, and other emergency service vehicle sirens. And I'm joined by Councilmember Farrah Lewis in introducing our bill, creating a climate migrant services coordinator to provide support and guidance to those who have relocated here after being displaced by a climate event, which our city has already experienced, and as Lewis and I can attest to, post-devastating disasters in Haiti and Puerto Rico. Want to just say thank you to my colleagues for the municipal fleet zero emission vehicles legislation and of course our goals for zero waste. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. We now go to Councilmember Farias, followed by Councilmember Yeager, followed by Councilmember Hanks.
I have a lot of great pieces of legislation being introduced today, 5 to be exact, including some with colleagues, Councilmembers De La Rosa, Menon, Stevens, and Riley. I urge my colleagues to look them up themselves and sign on. I'm proud to reintroduce Intro 285 with my colleagues to establish a New York City Office of Cannabis Business Services. Our city needs to streamline all of the resources it has to offer. By providing legal and technical advice, loan programs, help finding affordable locations, and more, we are ensuring that our newest economy has solid ground to stand on and able to thrive. This is proactive and protective. It prioritizes the importance of safe and tested products that collect tax revenue for direct community reinvestments. This bill also calls for the office to provide oversight on what is and isn't working in the industry by submitting a biannual report to the mayor and council related to the status of the commercial cannabis industry. As local leaders, we have to continue to prioritize proactive measures like this that center the healing of our Black and brown communities by promoting resources for economic wellness, and I urge all my colleagues to sign on to this critical legislation. Lastly, Intro 236, I'd like to highlight, as well as what Councilmember Althea Stevens did. Accessibility is to have freedom of choice. By letting our young people take advantage of our waterway, transit allows for them to have choices they don't have right now.
By only having reduced cost train and bus passes, we are not accounting for the students who could get to their communities a lot safer, healthier, and even faster with the option of the ferry. And I'll give you back 18 seconds, Majority Leader.
We will take it. Thank you, Councilmember. We'll now go to Councilor Yeager, followed by Councilmember Hanks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to begin just very briefly thanking my colleague, Councilman Dinowitz, whose incredible eloquence and passion on today's very quiet remembrance, because you don't really see it going on in New York. But it is important nonetheless, and I think it should be mentioned. Yom HaShoah is the Holocaust and Heroism Remembrance Day, and it's scheduled to fall out on different days in the English calendar because it's tied to the Hebrew calendar. And it's today, and it commemorates the loss of 6 million members of my family. Not just broadly speaking members of my family, but 4 great-grandparents, every single great-aunt and uncle except for one, my grandfather's younger sister, and hundreds and hundreds of cousins and millions of others who are all related to me, and to others in this chamber and to many people in this city. It's often been said, that Israel has other commemorations. One is called Yom HaZikaron, which is essentially the Memorial Day, kind of like what we have here in the United States. It's to thank and remember the members of the army, the military, who defend Israel. And it's been said very frequently, I think, I'm not the first one to say it, that Yom HaZikaron is to remember the cost of Israel existing. Yom HaShoah is to remember the cost of Israel not existing. My grandfather was able to make his way to what had not yet been called Israel in modern times, although had been called Israel for thousands of years before. Before his parents were taken away and killed, his siblings were taken away and killed. My other grandfather was able to make his way through Europe, over to Russia, onto a boat to make his way to Japan and into China, where he was able to live out the war before finding out that his family was all killed. 34% increase in anti-Semitism in the United States last year. Don't have to go to other states to see it. Just have to walk around the streets of this city. People who look like me, who wear a yarmulke, are beaten and attacked every single day in this city, every single day. And at the same time, there's a movement that we frequently hear about, globalize the Intifada. It's just fancy language for globalize killing Jews. Not a word is said in public about it. I've talked on this floor before in the last session about the responsibility that those of us in government and those of us in the military, Mr. President, I ask for additional time, thank you, are responsible for the language that we hear. When we hear attacks on yeshivas, for example, because they don't provide good education, and the same people who make those attacks have not a word to say about the public school system, which I think something very similar could be said. That's anti-Semitism. Very strange anti-Semitism, because it's not I hate Jews. How can I hate Jews? I am a Jew myself. We have elected officials in the city who are Jewish, who are anti-Semites. It's okay. Some of the biggest enemies of the Jewish people over time have been Jewish. But it has to be recognized. And when we ignore the subtleties, the tinkering at the fringes of anti-Semitism, it leads to the Jew walking down the streets in Councilman Osei's district and other districts around the city getting beaten up.
Reagan, we need you to...
Because they look Jewish. It's not enough once a year to stand next to a menorah and say, I'm here to celebrate Jews. And it's not enough once a year to say, we remember the Holocaust. It's important every single day to remember that the reason that we have these days is not just so that we can have a date to talk about, but that never again actually has to mean something. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councilor Mayor. We'll now go to Councilmember Hanks.
Thank you so much, Majority Leader. I hear you.
Thank you so much to my colleagues, Yeager and Dinowitz, who spoke so eloquently, and all my other colleagues who are introducing legislation for the first time and bills for the first time. I congratulate you. Today, I rise as a proud primary co-sponsor on Intro 273, along with the council members Narcisse and Councilmember Mealy, in relation to requiring police officers to receive training related to recognizing and interacting with individuals with autism. We know the rate of autism diagnosis is on the rise, and especially in Staten Island, we have an especially high rate of autistic New Yorkers. Many of us, including myself, have members, friends, and neighbors and colleagues who are autistic, and it is a priority of mine to ensure the safety and the well-being of these individuals. I look forward to working with my colleagues, NYPD, and our community-based organization to ensure the NYPD training provides tools to maximize safety and respect for all autistic New Yorkers, as well as our police officers. I also would like to shout out and take a moment to congratulate Amazon Labor Union, led by Union President and fellow Staten Islander and friend Chris Smalls, for its tremendous victory in being the first in the nation to unionize at Amazon. The Amazon Labor Union put Staten Island on the map as a labor pioneer, and I could not be more proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember. That is the last person signed up. Are there any other hands or any other people signed up? Councilmember Narcisse has raised her hand.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker and Leader. I rise to ask my colleagues to join me in supporting 3 introductions, which I believe will benefit the people of New York City and make our city a safer and more equitable place for all. Study shows approximately, like just my colleague mentioned, it's difficult in New York City. 1 out of 5 young adults with autism will interact with the police officer before the age of 21. Community services, including interaction with police, are essential at times for New Yorkers and families with autism. When a parent, caretaker, or person with autism requires police help, we should not have to be concerned that their call for help could lead to a situation where their own lives could be placed in danger from the officers sent to help. Therefore, along with Councilwoman Hanks and Milley, I have sponsored Intro 273, requiring police officers to receive training related to recognizing and interacting with individuals with autism. I believe this will be a great benefit to autistic New Yorkers, but also NYPD officers will now be better educated and equipped on how to deal with individuals with autism. If we want to stop the revolving door in our jails, we must endeavor to nurture a correctional system that truly corrects the previous wrong done by this incarcerated individual and provide them with services needed to get back on the right track and help them stay out of jail and be productive citizens. That is why, along with public advocate Jomani Williams, I have sponsored Intro 284 to place social workers in city correctional facilities. I believe having these advocates working with incarcerated New Yorkers will help reduce the rate of recidivism and support the mental and emotional well-being of incarcerated people while preparing them for release. So this is important. I won't take any further, and I'm proud to be co-sponsor 276 with Councilman Osei. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Councilmember. Seeing no one, Councilmember Marte.
I'll keep this short. This Sunday, there'll be 32,000 New Yorkers cycling through the streets across the 5 boroughs with the 5-borough bike tour. And so if you're not joining us on Sunday, go outside, cheer them on, because this is the future and motto that we shall all want in this city. One that prioritizes pedestrian and bikes, then vehicles and traffic. And so it's going to be a sunny day, so go out with some pots and pans and cheer on your New Yorkers as they ride for 40 miles. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Marte. With that, I'm now going to call on Speaker Adrian Adams to close out today's stated meeting. Guys, please let us finish. Thanks. I'm not calling Speaker Adrian Adams to close today's stated meeting.
I was waiting. Colleagues, the stated meeting of April 28, 2022 is hereby adjourned.